All right. Well, it's time for another monthly update. I'll keep this rather brief. There's not too much new to report. I'm only down a couple of pounds, but I feel pretty good about that. So my weight today is 205.6 pounds, something like that. 205.6, I think it was. But honestly, that's kind of weird the way my weight is right now because earlier in the month, about halfway through the month, I started taking creatine. And that, of course, causes you to gain intramuscular, water. So it kind of messes with your ability to track your weight. Also, coming into the month, I had COVID and was dehydrated as I came in. So I was a little underweight at 207. And I expected to be at least 207, if not higher. I expected this month to be the first month where I had actually gained weight in a little over a year. But no, turns out I weighed in at 205, so a couple pounds lower. But there's a little trick to it. That was immediately after I woke up at like 6:30 in the morning. Then I had a good breakfast. I went to the gym and worked out for a couple hours, during which time I drank a couple, maybe a liter and a half of water. Then I had a pretty good lunch, and then I weighed myself, and I was 209 pounds. So it was a 4 pound fluctuation in 6 hours. In 6 hours, 4 pound fluctuation in 6 hours. So that's interesting. I don't feel like my weight has fluctuated that much before. I think a lot of that is because of the water that and the way my body is retaining water and the way that it's moving water around. Because of the creatine. I'm assuming there's probably a lot of other things going on. It is. After all, winter, and I just naturally drink less water, even though I'm trying to remind myself to drink more of it because of the creatine. So that's the only new weird thing this week, the newest thing this month, which is that I'm now taking creatine to help with strength and recovery. I'm now in a phase where my workouts are easily an hour and a half, sometimes close to 2 hours. And from what I understand, this can be beneficial for these kind of longer workouts. I'm also working about six times a week. I usually try to only take off Sundays. So it's I'm going into a pretty heavy phase over the next few months. So we'll see what that does combined with the creatine. I also, of course, am still cutting. So I'm keeping my calories at around 24 to 2,500 a day, except on Sundays where I allow myself a soda and maybe something else fun, and I allow my calories to get up to about 3,000. Which still puts me a little under. So I believe I'm cutting 7 days a week. And my goal, as I stated in an earlier video, is to at least maintain my current bench press of 225 pounds. That's where I'm at right now. That's my 1 rep max for bench press. Maybe I could have done it twice, but but 225 seems to be my 1 rep max for bench press. I want to maintain that. And come back in 6 months, I want to be about 30 pounds lighter. I think losing that 30 pounds is going to be every bit as difficult as the first 60 that I lost. I expect it to take at least as long. So that's the update. As far as everything else is concerned, as far as mental health and all that is concerned, I feel like I'm doing pretty good. Still grieving. And I think that's something that'll just be with me for the rest of my life. But as far as like normal depression and things like that, things feel pretty good. The main thing that kicked off this whole exercise and fitness journey for me was anger management. And while I still get angry from time to time, I feel like I'm generally doing better at managing my emotions. Even if I do cry a lot out of grief, that's a different thing. In general, my emotions are pretty manageable. I'm not going to be upset about crying, especially when it's over someone important to you. Yeah, that's not something to be upset about. I want to talk a little bit more in some upcoming videos about what it means to be a full-grown man. And crying is definitely part of that for me. I'm not an utter stoic. But that's a conversation for another day. For now, this is plenty for an update of how I'm feeling this month. Looks like things are still in the right direction. So we'll see how things look in 30 days. 28 days. It's February.